Quite the irony. Okay, mental. Speaking of Stu, talking about not being in the best health mentally a couple years ago.
Yes.
We are sort of living in this age of COVID, in which we are also, as a collective species, experiencing the negative effects of our time lockdown and our time in quarantine. Stu, I tried to give you some British headlines here. I have something from the Lancet, which is, I believe, based out of England, and of course BBC, and whatever the one is this is. I forgot where I got it, but I think it's also a British source, and then a couple American things. So yeah, there you have it. Mental health during quarantine. How are you guys dealing with it?
The best I've been for years.
It's because you don't have to deal with people.
I don't have to deal with people because they're fucking morons.
I have I have Brandy. So
are you calling her a fucking moron?
No. That's how I'm dealing.
Okay.
I have my wife, and
good save.
So
yeah, I think for like I noticed that
I can't imagine being single during this. Can you imagine?
Oh,
I could imagine, but like,
that would suck.
You definitely have to have a dog.
But that would get a lot bigger than it probably was if I was.
Yeah,
right. Not me.
Yes. No, like I think I'm doing pretty. Like I have a family, so like there's always something going on, and I have somebody who just turned 13 yesterday, somebody who turned 18 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys.
Yeah. And then somebody who turned 10 about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And so like, there's always like some little scheming or some, exercise of imagination going on at some point. So I've been pretty well entertained. And it's sort of weird because, I'm supposed to be going back to teaching here shortly. And on one hand, it's like, yeah, I miss the interaction. But then again, it's like, first of all, I fear for my own mortality, of course, because I'm a middle-aged white man with A positive blood, and apparently we're like the most vulnerable group in terms of middle age. Yeah, A positive blood. There have been brief studies.
I think I'm an O negative.
Or should say A blood, negative or positive is irrelevant.
I actually don't know what my type is.
I actually wasn't quite sure. I typed it. I thought, because I had surgery a couple years ago, and as I was going under, I thought the nurse said A, but she could have said O. So I typed it when I first read the study about A.
Were you having surgery in Canada?
No, thank
you.
no.
As I was thinking,
you're from Michigan. It happens.
You
anyway,
ready to do the surgery?
Like hook me up, hoser. I just watched Strange Brew the day before yesterday. God, I love that movie. Anyway, so no, I typed it from a kit from Amazon. Hey, Jeff Bezos, you have my money. Yeah, so I'm definitely A positive, and I'm in a more susceptible group. I have asthma and I have other health conditions that make me a little more freaked out about it than I think other people are. And
asthma massive.
Say what?
Asthma massive.
Ooh.
I take a steroid every night. I'm also asthma.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
And I blame it on the fact that I wasn't breastfed.
Me, I think our generation wasn't breastfed, so we all got fucking asthma, man.
Yeah, but they've all got perky tits now, fucking bitches.
Well, my mom had a condition. My mom had a condition. All she created was that initial kind of clearish fluid, and she never actually changed to producing milk. And then I was allergic to cow's milk, so I was really screwed back in the day.
Wait, are you still allergic to cow's milk?
A little bit. I don't get huge knots on my head like I did when I was young.
Oh, okay.
Do you still eat cheese?
I'm gonna say, you eat a lot of ice cream and cheese. I know that.
Yeah.
I actually don't eat that much ice cream, except when I'm over at your house.
A friend of mine over here who says, I'm allergic to milk. I don't eat milk. I don't drink milk at all. I'm like, but dude, you just went and eat that whole fucking pizza to yourself.
Oh my God.
Cooked cheese.
But the cheese is different. I'm like, no, it really isn't.
It is easier after it's cooked to digest.
Shut up.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
How about that? I didn't
But
know that.
goat cheese is all good. It's different enzymes.
Well, that was the milk I had to drink when I was little, and they figured it out. We lived in the sticks, and so we had a neighbor that had a goat, and so we got fresh goat's milk a couple of times a week from the neighbor. So
I got a friend who was a goat herder many moons
Wait, that
ago.
explains why you smell like a goat, Jeff. just kidding. Oh my god.
Carry on. I need to go to the men's room, Mikey.
Okay.
Well, anyway. We've spent so much time on other things.
I'll be back.
We'll
Look at me, Mozart.
He's wearing an Anonymous or a Guy Fawkes shirt.
Yeah. Remember the date I can never remember.
Serious. It's the 5th of November, Jeffrey. The 5th of November.
You know me and dates, man.
Oh my god.
Dates and times.
Dates, times, memories, places, things, items, animals, people.
Well, like I said, Brandy and I were counting down how many times I probably had a concussion, and it was like, oh wait, and then there was that time, and then there was that time. Oh yeah, and that time.
You're chalking it up to straight brain damage.
A little bit.
All right. I got you. Anyway. So I'm on the best spot right there.
Yeah. If it's a condenser mic, usually it's directional.
Well, the last condenser mic I had fucking sucked. What was that?
Brandon the Lizard?
Did you hear Stu? Is that what that was?
I thought so.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm sorry it took so long.
It sounded like you were like wrestling with the toilet paper, like it had attacked you, or you're arguing.
At some part, we heard a.
Yeah, oh dear.
Did we hear that?
Yes.
Is that what that was?
I'm pretty sure.
It's a really good microphone, but that is a couple of doors away. But yeah, it was. I had been holding on for a while.
Oh wow! So we did catch that live. That's good.
You did catch that live, but I've run out of Chardonnay.
So now you're on.
So now I've. I am Tom Cruise, baby. I'm mixing up a martini.
Oh, okay.
Got a bit of gin, got a bit of martini.
And it is shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred.
There we go.
That's the one.
Did you want to talk any more about the mental health thing, or are you ready to go to the next part?
Are we all on like the whole Lord of the Rings thing, like a mental elf?
I don't get it.
Mental elf.
Elf, like an elf.
Mental elf.
Oh my god! God damn it!
Yeah,
he hates puns. I do it all the time just to fuck with him.
Does he hate puns? Yeah. Do you hate puns? Oh, I love puns.
Wait. I've had to embrace it because, dadness, right? So yesterday I took the girls and their little friend. I can
sympathize. I can't empathize.
I took the girls and their friend to the store to buy birthday stuff or whatever. And I got, the grocery store has like a little deli. And so I'm like, oh, I'll take some of the chicken. And then I'll take some of that mac and cheese. And I noticed they had is that two different kinds? I'm like, she's like, yeah, that's one's regular, one's Gouda. And I'm like, how Gouda is it? I was so fucking ashamed of myself.
No, you should know. Be pleased. Bravissimo.
Oh my God. Anyway, all right. So, we can continue talking about that, or we can bitch about our politicians.
Let's move along. Let's move. Let's keep this.
Okay, let's keep it going. Thank you.
Moving that along.
All right, are we ready? Do we need to segue at all? Are we ready to just go back in?
Move on down the road.
All right, gentlemen, all around the world, global leaders' response to the pandemic, which has been Sweden was the only nation in the world to do no sort of lockdown, and they screwed the pooch on that one. They thought that they would have herd immunity over the next several months. They do not, and they have admitted their
speaking of dad jokes
missteps.
It's not an ear infection; it's a nose infection. So how could they have herd immunity?
Yay! It's all a part of the same system, man.
God damn it, Jeff. That's my catchphrase, dude.
He loves to say that.
God damn it, Jeff.
It is. Like every episode, I have to say at least once. Everything we've done so far, I had to say at least once. But now that one was well fucking earned, sir.
Yeah, and it needs to be on a t-shirt. God damn it, Jeff.
Oh, that and Bukkake ruined my carpet.
My carpet, yeah.
Bukkake ruined your what?
Bukkake ruined my carpet.
Yeah, you and me all.
For some reason, Bukkake kept coming.
Wishes.
Right. All right. So, hey, Stu, how do you think of Mr. Boris Johnson's management of the?
Oh God! Sorry.
See you next Tuesday.
Are you okay? Yeah.
See you next Tuesday. Well, to be fair, okay. My initial reaction, I'm going to try and I think anybody, to be fair, right? I'm going to try and be fair, which is a difficult thing to do.
Yes.
But as a rather left-wing socialist, but I'm going to be trying to be fair. As I don't think even Jeremy Corbyn or Keir Starmer, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't think that anybody who was in a position of power right now in the UK could handle this. I really don't. I do not think that anybody could do. I don't think they're doing a good job. But I think they're doing a really fucking terrible job. But I don't think anybody in this state could do, because nobody knows where it's going, because we have no idea of where because it hasn't been before.
Right.
It's So it's a case of guesswork. So wherever Boris is going to go will be the wrong direction. Wherever anybody who was in power could have gone would be the wrong direction. Because it's nature, and it's basically so it's ego versus nature. Or the best thing that you could do is go and, as somebody who was in charge of a shitstorm, is go. The truthful thing would be to go, we're fucked. Do what you can, batten down the hatches. We're going to close the shops, except for the ones where you need to get your shit from. Oh. Other than that, you're fucked.
That was basically the initial philosophy that I heard was like, yeah, everyone's going to get it. It's so contagious.
When did you put those glasses on?
Last few seconds.
Oh my God. I just looked up 1 second and it was like, is he wearing pimp glasses? What
my allergies. My allergies have been killing my eyes.
That Johnny Depp film?
No, dude, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, totally.
No, why didn't you put those on at the beginning? Those are great.
Big Lebowski. Yes.
Oh, you're John Goodman. You are John Goodman.
Basically, it probably looks to most people like I've been crying this whole time because my eyes are just so allergied right now.
Do you take antihistamines?
If I were to consult Dr. Demon Seaman, she might say that your eyes got raped by fairies.
Fairies? Oh God!
Not the gay kind.
What kind of fairies? Yeah, exactly.
I know some gay fairies. I really do.
Go figure.
There's a movement globally called the fairies. Honestly, I went to a festival last year called the Queer Spirit Festival.
Are they magical? Do they have magic?
They really do. It's fucking weird.
All right, man. All right.
They have magical times.
It's not they do that as well, but they also they do ceremonies, and I've never been to anything so outrageous and outlandish in my entire life.
And for you, that's saying a lot.
But honestly, I was like, for me, but you might think me as quite a left wing sort of person. I was like the most fucking right wing. I was wearing tweed, and people look at me going like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I'm going, "I don't know. You're having sex in the tent," and I'm just kind of sitting there going, "Really?
Oh wow."
My wife knows an ex-nun Wiccan.
Cool.
All right.
Anyway,
There are two nations on the earth who seem to have handled the COVID crisis exceptionally well, one of which is New Zealand, and the other is Japan. Jeff, you have liked to speak of the example of Japan. So go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, Japan actually didn't close too many things. Most of the things they kept chugging along. Even like the subway system, they just kept it open. But everyone over there, it's like a work together. The whole population is like, we're in it together. And they've been that for a long time. And so when they said, hey, everyone needs to wear masks, they went, sounds reasonable. We'll wear masks.
Well, and
so they kept their economy open and they kept their economy chugging. And the response from just wearing masks, they didn't even do contact
tracing.
Words.
Contact tracing.
Tracing. Thank you. They didn't do any of that shit. All they did is they put masks on, and it worked.
Amazing.
So they did just go, wear a mask, and they just went, hi. That was it.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
And in New Zealand just sort of closed up. Like they just closed the borders down and said, hey, if you're going to come, you're going to sit here for 2 weeks before you can go out and do anything. And that's pretty much been it.
Well, it's a 2-week quarantine in New Zealand, though, so that might not be too bad.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Like for holidays and shit.
Oh, yes. Anyway.
Across we've now got this 2-week thing because the English like to go to Spain, apparently, but also not learn any Spanish. Because they just want the sunshine, and so they go there and they go, oh, I want a fried egg and chips, and then they come back with the tan. But they get aggrieved because when they get back, they go, oh, I'm sorry, you just had 2 weeks in Spain, but now you need to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks. And they go, but what the fuck? I've got to go back to work. And they go, no, you just went to Spain for 2 weeks because you might be infected, you silly motherfucker.
Yeah, that's not the most responsible. All right, speaking of irresponsible motherfuckers, we have the orange wannabe despot here in America.
Wannabe? He's getting closer to just despot. He's just getting closer to despot.
Yeah. Anyway, so
he wants to move the date of the election. He's
Jeff. Let's not abbreviate his timeline. He started out by accusing the Democrats of making COVID-19 a hoax early on.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
He then went into denial mode, as in it didn't exist. Then he went into the China blame game.
Where did the huffing Lysol come in?
Yes, and putting UV light into your and bleach into your veins was one of his suggestions.
Has anybody died of that yet?
We actually talked about
a couple.
Yeah, he actually talked about getting Lysol or disinfectants into the lungs.
But why aren't those people suing him? Because America's all about suing people.
These are his acolytes. These are his religious faithful.
Yeah, the Republicans have tied themselves to religiosity, and therefore he's chosen by God. He's chosen by God.
Is he the new Jesus? Is he their Jesus?
To them, yeah.
Kind of a little bit.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Every Republican is chosen by God.
He is messianic in his, especially if you, we talked about, I had to explain to Jeff and my wife what QAnon was, and that one absolutely puts a role in he's a messiah to these people. He's the one who's fighting the deep state and all that other ridiculous bullshit. But anyway, so Trump has mishandled the pandemic to such tragic and historic extent that he is now trailing in a presidential election, the most that has been since the 20th century, since the beginning of the 20th.
However, there hasn't been a debate yet.
And then of course I think the exception was Reagan. I think Reagan was beating Mondale by a historic number as well. I think that was like the one caveat. But anyway, so Biden is leading Trump tremendously. I put the graphic there. You have June He was up 49-41, and as of July, the middle of July, it's now 52-37. A lot of the people who had voted for Trump in the 2016 cycle have now expressed regret. So I think he's going to lose a lot of those moderate and independent voters.
Like I said, I do worry about.
He does have the
debates with the troller in chief.
Well, that, and of course he's somehow able to spin his beliefs and his tweets, and anything he says that's ridiculous is meant to be a joke. Yesterday he tweeted about, should we postpone the election? Question mark, question mark, question mark. If you had seen the tweet, which of course, going back to that document, the Constitution of the United States would require an act of Congress, not an act of the president to do. So especially it's such a short, and because we're less than 100 days away from the November election, and we're going to postpone the election now is a virtual impossibility. But anyway, So
are most of your votes coming in via post?
Well, that was his beef. He doesn't want he thinks that we're going to have the most fraudulent election because of mail-in votes. Because, a lot of people are going to be mailing in absentee ballots.
He complained about the election he won because to him he didn't win enough.
Yeah,
so
because
it must have been rigged. He
lost
but it was
the popular
still rigged.
vote. Yeah. Even though he says that he won the popular vote anyway because of whatever. Obviously, there's a lot of his own niece.
But this isn't. I mean, his background is reality TV. This is not reality TV. This is reality. This is what is affecting millions, not thousands, millions of people's lives.
And we passed 150,000 dead. 3 or 4 days ago here in America, which is funny because, speaking of the city that we used to live in when my wife and I met and lived in Tennessee, we lived in a city that was
Tennessee,
150,000.
Tennessee. I love Arrested Development. I'm sorry.
The same thing went through my head too. Yes.
Yeah, I love that band.
Anyway, so the city we live in now has about 150,000 people. So it's so peculiar to think that city would be completely barren. There would be nobody left. That's how many people have died in just the United States because of this morons. 150?
Yeah, something like that.
That's just math, Jeff. Anyway, so obviously the response here has been catastrophic. I mean, it's already catastrophic, but it's that much worse catastrophic.
What comes to mind for me, from being somebody outside of your equation?
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Yes.
Right. You live amongst all of this. And the man who is in charge of your country.
Yeah.
And you're here, and you're giving your point of view, and I agree with you, but there might be other people who will watch this and who will very much stand
the
with
people who disagree have probably already turned us off.
Probably.
Once we got to say capitalism and socialism is common. Yeah, those are those anyway.
That's too much to think about.
Yes. Okay, continue. Sorry.
How is it? I mean, I also kind of. Here in the UK, I dance along that line in the sense of I live a very privileged life, but I come from a very working class background.
And you had to wipe your ass with newspapers.
I had to wipe my arse with the newspaper. But hopefully at the time, the Prime Minister, who was Margaret Thatcher.
True.
You save those sections, the pictures of Margaret Thatcher.
Specifically. One day I'm going to have a really good shit and I'm going to wipe my face on you. I'm going to wipe my arse on your face. I'm saving it specifically.
Wow.
You're still talking about Margaret Thatcher, right?
I hope so.
I didn't before, but I'm going to now. And it will be Boris Johnson in about 5 years.
Yep, amen to that.
If only I could think that way in the future, because Margaret actually already put an individualistic sense of sensibility in our point of view. But that's the whole thing about capitalism, about it making you as an individual, and we're not. Well, it's difficult. We are, and at the same time, we're not. We are individuals. We have our own power. We have we are a battery, in a sense, when you think about the Matrix, for example. We have our own power within the remit of the entire thing which is going on. So you can fully put out your entirety of your power, everything which you stand for and everything which has been put into your system and which you choose to engage with. And hopefully the power that you put out will engage with other of the same frequency. But that's not necessarily going to happen. But hopefully you might with what you're putting out. And that's all we can, as individuals, hope that what we do within our energy field put out there is that you have your existence. Whatever category or bracket that you wish to put your things in, whether it be socialism, capitalism, communism, whatever it is, you're going to put your thing out there, and it's going to connect to somebody else's vibration, whatever it is. So my hope, as somebody on 396 hertz of that vibration, so I'm very root chakra, as in the terminology goes within all that stuff which goes back centuries. So my resonance is very much of a sexual thing. So 386. So you got resonance. If we're talking about spirituality and resonance within all of that spectrum, we start at the bottom, which is the root chakra, which starts at 386 hertz, and it goes up and up and up amongst that spectrum within that belief system. So
sounds like Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Exactly. There's all these different systems and all these different labels which attune themselves to something within their sociology which makes sense to the people living in their sociology. So in India, in Asian culture, you've got all these gods and all these things. In Catholicism, you've got all these things and all these gods. And Judaism, you've got all, and Islam. But fundamentally and primarily, there's all these different labels which mean the same thing. They've all got these different frequencies and all these different levels, which generally mean exactly the same thing. And what we need to do, coming from all of our different focal points in the world, so you're coming from America, I'm coming from England, and my stuff is coming from things that I was brought up Catholic. I went through a recovery program that's been influenced by Indian stuff, and there's other things which come from, anyway, so all these different influences. But the fundamental thing which we have to come back to is that all of these labels mean nothing. And what it all really means is that stuff because as humans, as a species, we like to compartmentalize, we like to put things into boxes, we like to say that's socialism, that is capitalism, that is Catholicism, that is Judaism, that is etc, etc, etc. We like to put those things in those little spaces. Fundamentally, there's two things. There's black and white. I'm not talking about
race.
Race. I'm talking about equilibrium. I'm talking about there's a balance that we all have within ourselves. There's man, woman, gay, straight, everything in between. It all fluctuates in this thing. And actually what we all are amongst all of that because it's the fear that makes us grab on to. I'm a gay man. I'm a straight man. I'm a black man. I'm a white man. I'm a Chinese man. Etc. 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 There's all those things which makes it, and actually, the reality beyond all of that stuff is that we are all one. Everything that we experience, you can't compartmentalize into one thing or numerous things. The fact is, we are all, including the birds, bees, everything. We are all one being. We are all one thing. That is all we are. And money and all of the other hierarchical systems which we put upon ourselves to make sense of it all is bullshit. We are all one thing. That is it. That is the simple thing, and it's really it seems so simplistic, but the reality is actually, I am you, James. I am you, Jeff. You are me.
But I am also me.
Exactly. And everybody who's listening to this, everybody who chooses to participate in this thing and beyond, anybody who has had an experience connected to any of this and all the other bits and bobs, it's the same. It is all the same thing. And Margaret Thatcher, for example, and she wasn't trying to do bad. And I can't find the word. I don't want to say that. I don't think Donald Trump really wants to do bad. I don't think that is his intention. I don't think he's a very well man. I think there's so much.
There are definitely some pathology to what he has going on, which his niece released a book here a couple weeks ago, and she is a clinical psychologist, and she threw out the diagnoses and
sociopath.
Well,
borderline.
She called him a narcissist with psychopathic tendencies or something. Like that.
Are you sure it wasn't sociopathic? Psychopathic usually means you want to kill people.
Not necessarily, and that's actually something that they argue about.
But this is a perfect example of what the human psychology does. And you've just written, Jeff. You've just exactly done what we do as all of us. As individual humans, and we can't help it. But that's what we do. Is we go. That's what that thing is. There, we put things into categories. We can't help it. That's who we are as a species.
But you have to realize that it's all an approximation. It's all an approximation.
Exactly, but none of it is really real. It's how we try to make sense of it all.
Which. Yes, in the same vein that Wittgenstein was telling us that our letters and words are merely abstractions from what we really mean and want to say,
and they're also barriers to understanding.
Exactly. That's also Wittgenstein.
I have to say, can you guys? I know you're probably going to turn into a pumpkin, James. So just keep talking. I'm going to go pee.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide, if you don't mind.
Okay, we've all had pee breaks. It's all good.
Yes.
My turn.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
And you wonder why they're trying to take all away like guns.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So, Stu, I imagine you are going to have some questions about this one, which is why I said, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Hey, have you heard some of these conspiracies, Stu?
Okay.
The first one with our raccoons. COVID-19 is a conspiracy. Okay, the raccoon part is obviously a joke, but there's this conspiracy that it's all part of a conspiracy to introduce 5G. To manipulate like human brain waves and stuff like that. It's all part of the conspiracy.
Move along. That's just fucking nonsense, isn't it?
This was actually on Fox News. They actually interviewed some people about this.
They paid money for this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I hope Fox News has a reputation there. You know Fox News, right?
Yeah, Murdoch.
Totally. Okay.
But all I'm thinking is raccoons in 90s and
the raccoon part is made up, obviously, because the anagram is just funny. But yeah, that's definitely part of it. And of course, the next thing I was going to talk about, Jeff and I were discussing this yesterday, is QAnon, which I actually mentioned here before, and just the last couple days, Fox News is seizing upon this as some meaningful truth. And have you heard of QAnon?
No.
Speaking of going from where I was in an urban suburban area that I felt was a little more northern than southern, I actually saw someone wearing a QAnon T-shirt at the grocery store near my house a couple days ago, and I'm like, what? I'm going to explain.
Talk to me like I'm an 8-year-old.
No, I'm going to explain. QAnon it refers to the 4chan, 8chan message boards where a supposed member of Trump's government got on to tell the users that Trump was fighting the good fight against the deep state, that Donald Trump was the first candidate who had not been put into power by the deep state, and that everything he does, he works tirelessly from, all night, barely gets any sleep, working against the deep state to better the lives of Americans.
He looks like a man who only shits chicken McNuggets, frankly.
Hey, I like that. It's probably accurate though, because I think he only eats McDonald's or something anyway. I
did
Fox
that
News
today. I shit chicken McNuggets.
You did? Oh, you silly man!
Wow. There's that.
I'm sorry, but cook. God damn it, cook!
I cook all the time, every now and again.
I cook. That makes no sense. I cook all the time, every now and again.
Oh, every now and again,
it's a consistent sentence.
Every now and again, it's nice to have somebody else cook.
Cook yourself.
Anyway, the other thing, Jeff, I don't know if you've heard much about this, but back before, actually, it was during the 2016 election cycle here, we had this thing called Pizzagate. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah,
there was a
cheese
pizzeria.
Pizza.
Yeah, the pizzeria in Washington D.C.
Did I just tell you about this? With cheese pizza supposedly meant.
No, you didn't tell me, but I know. Like I've read about it and know about it. Obviously, it's been discredited, and I'm going
to revert into a bit of Americanism, which I'm not really totally pleased with myself. But can you guys tell me, right? Home Alone, favorite film of all time, mine. A plain cheese pizza. What the fuck does that mean?
Pizza margarita.
But that's not plain cheese. You got tomato.
That it's a pizza margarita.
But there's not plain cheese. There's tomato in it.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Basic pizza is the crust, sauce, and cheese.
But that's not plain. That's not plain.
It is.
You've got a fucking ragu in there, mate.
It's plain here.
No, yeah, the sauce isn't. It's inferred.
They don't even include the sauce. It's there's women out there in the deep south of Italy weeping over tomatoes, as you'll call them, tomatoes.
Yes. No, go with tomatoes.
You say tomato, and I say tomato.
Let's call the whole thing off. I'm going by.
Yeah, well, for this shit, yeah. So Pizzagate has actually seen a resurgence.
What I was going to say is cheese
pizza. Jeffrey's bringing it back in. Let him
cheese pizza stood for child porn.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They want to say that like Obama was getting cheese pizzas from the White House.
No, they did not.
Like, wouldn't he just send somebody to get child porn?
Supposedly the different
toppings.
Just
Google it.
The different toppings meant your different sexual preferences and shit like that.
Yes. And then, of course, you could get like little kids to handle. And I think part of this has to do with the Epstein thing that came out. And, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell was just arrested.
Did he make any good films? Did he make any good movies, Epstein?
No.
I've heard rumors they may have worked for Mossad.
No, but I'm trying to think, because I remember actors, I remember stories.
No, Epstein was he was a Wall Street guy.
But did he make any good films?
Nope.
Oh, no. No, Jeffrey Epstein is purely, he was only ever involved with, he ingratiated himself apparently to everybody, but he was running this child sex trade.
Is there a bit
we'll talk about it.
Right, are these things coming up in your questions?
What do you mean?
For example, Michael Jackson, great songwriter, great tunes, Wagner, some fantastic tunes, etc., etc. Total douchebags, absolute awful people.
Epstein is just a rich asshole. I mean, that's all he ever was.
But did he make any good art?
No question. No, he's just a rich asshole.
You talking about like R. Kelly?
Okay, he didn't make any good art.
No.
But his fame is
without wigs.
His fame, his fame basically allowed him to get away with having video of him peeing on a 15-year-old.
No,
but it can't be absolutely proven that it's him. It's like,
so Pizzagate. We'll get to more of the Epstein thing here in a second. I do want to talk about the
I need
Dr. Demon Semen.
Yes. Okay, I need to. Tell me about the Dr. Demon Semen.
So throughout the pandemic, almost since the early days, Trump has touted this drug called hydroxychloroquine as a treatment, which caused a couple in Arizona to find some hydroxychloroquine and fertilizer in their garden shed, and they ingested it and died.
Well, it can also be used to clean your pool.
It can also be used to treat things, like lupus or whatever.
I think it's a slightly different molecule for ingestion.
Okay. So anyway, Trump keeps.
Can we rewind a little bit? Just tell me exactly.
I am. So Donald Trump, since the early days, has said that this drug, he heard it from, I think it was actually Dr. Birx, is one of his physicians that he's keeping close by, who was whispering in his ear. And of course, it gets apparently this is something that happens. They go through this cycle where his aides will feed things to Fox News, because all he does is he sits there and he watches Fox News all day, every day. And so on Fox News, they're like, oh, hydroxychloroquine. And he got it in his head, and he hasn't since the 5 months this has been going on, he has not let it go. And so he found this doctor. She's a doctor. She is a doctor. She is. Somehow she passed tests in Texas, who is African American and who is also has in the recent days been tied to big money and Republican donors. But that's beside the point. This doctor has been saying that hydroxychloroquine should still be used to treat COVID-19, which has been it hasn't been it has worked in certain cases because it does treat immune responses. It's just not, and it's not very effective. It causes more harm than good. So It's been widely discredited. This hydroxychloroquine has as a treatment, as a viable treatment, because there are too many unknowns regarding how a patient could react. Obviously, remdesivir is the one that they should be talking about, but whatever. So he has been retweeting and extolling the virtues of this doctor, who also believes in alien DNA being, interacting with human DNA to make people not religious.
You got to counteract all those cats.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. The toxoplasmosis. And then we have demon semen. demon sperm is being used to make women infertile and to cause endometriosis.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of, if you have sex with a succubus or an incubus
in your sleep,
in your dreams, then it can cause endometriosis.
Oh, shut up!
And he's
that's what she says,
publicizing her.
The president of the United States is endorsing this.
Yep. Yeah.
He likes her.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes her.
He likes her.
I am. Look. Mouth gob smacked. Totally. This is the image.
Oh, and you should hear some of the videos. She's very passionate about what she believes in demon semen and how we should be treating with hydroxychloroquine. And she's on the front line. She sees it every day.
Bukkake ruined her carpet.
She is getting demon semen every day.
Maybe.
Bukkake ruined her carpet, but only in her dreams.
God.
Only in her dreams.
Only in her dreams.
Yep. That's right. Because they have to finish on the outside.
Stupid bitch.
Yeah, so this is the latest from the right wing, man. The latest from the right wing. Hey, of course, this is a follow-up. I didn't talk about this one, but the Plandemic thing. There was a documentary that dropped.
Oh yeah,
and it got wide play on Facebook for about 24 hours before it was taken down from YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else, because this lady said she was held by the government for no reason, no charges. When in fact, she stole things from her ex-employer. She was fired for being, a not very good scientist, and she was trying to talk about how you could just go to the beach, get sunshine, and you can be cured of COVID. So that was
he was saying that at the start of all this, wasn't he? He was kind of like going get more sunshine, and I do remember an awful lot of tweets about people showing their buttholes to the sun at that point.
Wait, there was buttholes in the sun? Oh, I'm doing blisters in the sun. I'm buttholes in the sun.
No, I'm all
blistered butthole
right now.
Blistered butthole does sound bad.
Mm-hmm.
No, but there was a thing about butthole, about showing your butthole to the sun to stop the virus. There was a thing.
I didn't hear that one.
I'm interested. You find that, we want it.
Yeah, honestly, I did say honestly. I saw a number of memes.
You just squat over a sun lamp.
No. It was people literally. The sun was in full throng, and men and women with their arses to throw towards the sun, thinking that this would be their way to be COVID free.
Well, most viruses.
Well, I guess it probably had the origins in this pandemic thing, because everybody was like, "Oh, it has to be true."
Well, in all myth, there is, typically some seed of truth, and bacteria and viruses don't do well outside in the sun, typically.
No, they just need live hosts. Period.
But you still have to be far enough away from somebody that it doesn't have otherwise it doesn't have enough time to die and dry out before it gets from them to you. You just lessen the risk a little bit.
Yeah,
but it's still risky.
So that's the meme. The liberal
wear your masks.
The liberal fake news media is using a hoax virus to cover up the effects of 5G, going back to the raccoons, and crash our booming economy so Donald Trump can't get reelected. And they want to take you're going to take your guns.
Well, yeah, the people have said, look at the areas with 5G and look at the areas with higher levels of virus. It's like, you mean where the people are?
Yeah.
Both the 5G and the viruses are where the people are.
They're causation versus correlation.
I mean, I'm guessing there's more 5G in Manhattan than there is in the entirety of North Dakota.
You don't say.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Causation, correlation, all that jazz.
All that jazz. All right, we'll talk about masks here in a minute, but the last thing I want to talk about is that, speaking of our little orange despot wannabe, apparently he's dispatched members of the Department of Homeland Security to various urban locations throughout America, most notably to Portland, Oregon, where people who these officers from Homeland Security are wearing unmarked uniforms and camo uniforms.
Seems totally legit.
And they're driving minivans, strangely enough. And apparently they're arresting people and just taking them out of the crowds. Jeff and I actually did some legwork on that one a few days ago, because throughout everyone's saying that, like, oh, they're just arresting people arbitrarily in these that's something that is happening. They are. But the police are arresting people arbitrarily who are protesting. That actually happened here in Tampa.
Yeah.
And they had to drop all the charges against this leader of the protest. But these people that they're arresting, and we're sort of finding these things out later, they're agent provocateurs.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. And these people who are getting put in these minivans, they appear to be, they're not, the one video Jeff found was this woman was filming the officers putting this dude in a van.
Who had his face covered, so you couldn't see who he was.
Didn't know who it was. She's like, "What's your name? So we can come bail you out or whatever."
They asked him his name. Asked him his name over and over and over again. He didn't say a word.
Nothing.
He didn't even say, "Hey, why you arrested me?" He didn't say a word. They didn't handcuff him. They didn't handcuff him, zip tie him. They didn't pat him down. Nope. They just put him in the back of a van.
He's a plan. That's Probably. What it is. Then again, we have this thing right here, the terror in Portland woman's eyes as feds drag her away from the crowd. So yeah, they're still arresting these people with no good reason and infringing upon their First Amendment rights.
I found out that they're not only just using OC. OC powder is like pepper spray.
Oh yeah,
it hurts. Nasty. It hurts, but it won't.
And they're
damage you.
Yeah.
They're actually also using CS, which is tear gas, which is like little shards of glass almost.
Yeah, and it's outlawed in international warfare, but yet
you can't use OC. You can't use OC or CS in warfare. It's a war crime.
Yeah, they used to put it on the cigarettes. Yeah.
Oh, but they probably did here too, though.
Benson and Hedges. It was lovely. It was very nice.
So there you go. The rumor mill, the conspiracy mill is working overtime during the great pause here. A couple more conspiracies I'm going to throw at you is of course, even before this, going into last year, did Epstein really kill himself? Of course, that's the thing.
Is that Epstein with Clinton?
Apparently Clinton did spend some time there. There's actually a decent Netflix documentary. It's like 6 episodes about Epstein, and apparently Clinton didn't spend as much time there as and I'm not just saying this because I'm obviously anti Little Orange Despot, but there are far more photographs of Trump with Epstein and Trump with Maxwell than there are of basically any other celebrity.
Well, I was watching watching some hypocrisy videos earlier where this one guy was railing against, if Bill Clinton isn't in jail by this time next year, then I've lost all faith in our justice system. And he's talking about Epstein. It's like, well, I would take you a lot more seriously about Clinton if you also talked about the people who are on your side. Here's
the sticker. If you do the some investigation, of course he lived in Miami and was operating out of that area, but a lot of where he did his business was at Mar-a-Lago. So to think that Trump wasn't in on things, and this is the same man who went into the Miss Teen USA pageant, saw 16-year-old girls naked and talked about how their bodies were,
and he talked about that being one of the perks is you can just walk right in.
So to think that he's not a child rapist is utterly impossible. Of course he is.
And the gay men are the perverts.
We're all perverts to a level.
Seriously.
We're all perverts, just to what level?
And Stu, I threw this one in here just for you. That's Prince Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. Lovely man.
Who apparently spent, I guess we said the most, I guess in America we wouldn't necessarily consider him a celebrity, but apparently Prince Andrew spent
I don't think they do
a whole lot of time in his private island and hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. So
I believe they have similar interests.
So basically, we don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican or
a prince,
part of the royal family. If you diddled some kids,
fucking babies is not a good thing.
No,
generally.
So, is this getting much press over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
I would assume with how the press is there that they would.
Yeah. At the moment, there's a bit of hiatus, and they're waiting for sort of like court cases and all the rest of it. It's not looking good for Prince Big Eyes, and I don't sleep very well. I mean, look at him. The dude looked like he's been on fucking acid.
Maybe he's got a goiter, like Graves' disease, or something.
Like he's been tripping on E for a long time.
Like those guys who go out and they shine deer with the spotlights. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's definitely deer caught in the headlights. All right, the other more interesting. We obviously want justice for that, but this is also very, very interesting because we've been clamoring for this as a culture for ages. Like, we know the government is covering up UFOs, and then back in April, like a branch of the military actually released some videos of legitimate UFOs, and like nobody gave a single fuck about it. Like how telling of a time that we're living in.
I watched it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but a lot of people like it just didn't really make much of a conversation. Of course, that got memed as well.
Like the aliens, like really, seriously, we know.
Yeah,
where's the proof?
Kim Kardashian. I mean, seriously, you think she's fucking real? She thinks she's fucking human. Seriously, Kanye West, you think he's a real fucking human? That can't be real.
That's alien DNA to make people not religious with demon semen.
Demon semen, absolutely.
Anyway, so actually, I read this a couple days ago. They're actually getting ready for more information dumps
the real question
about
is,
this.
Does what's her face? Not Kanye. What's Kanye's missus?
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, but does she swallow? That's the question. The demon semen. Does she swallow?
Don't they have a sex tape out there? We could probably find that out.
Her and somebody, yeah.
It won't be Kanye because he's obviously gay.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Probably.
I mean, apparently it relates to Freddie. And Freddie was very out there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No.
Anyway, so yeah,
I hadn't heard about that at all.
No, man, not either.
No. Have you not heard the comparison between Kanye's Bohemian Rhapsody and Freddie's Bohemian Rhapsody?
No,
you've not seen this.
I don't pay too much attention to Kanye, to tell you the truth.
No,
but what about Freddie?
Definitely.
But
not that.
Okay, so Kanye is trying to put himself up there amongst the gods of what.
Well, he certainly likes to think so. Yes.
Yeah, of what is, and so Freddie doesn't need to. Freddie just is. Freddie doesn't have to grasp upon. I am the god of what is. That Freddie just is. Freddie just is the god of rock and roll. And Kanye goes, no, I am as well. I am. And look, listen to me do Bohemian Rhapsody. And
I had no idea. We're gonna have to listen to that version now.
I
had no idea.
Just Google it. Just Google Freddie versus Kanye.
Okay, I will. We will. All right, moving on.
And
we're actually
Freddie
getting
versus
towards
Jason.
the end. Oh God. Hey guys, I sent this article out, at least to Jeff, maybe to Stu. I don't remember. It's been a while. Physicists say there's a 90% chance civilization will soon collapse over the next 100 or so years.
But we can start feeling the effects in 20 to 40 years.
Yes, so that brings up the topic of the Doomsday Clock.
Apparently what's going on right now isn't the effects yet.
What stupid features get my DNA? I mean, really.
Yeah. So yeah, we're facing down.
Have you both got kids?
You both got
kids?
No, I don't.
I have kids. So I fear for them. I certainly do, and I feel for the future generations in general because we are staring down the barrel of annihilation.
I feel for any of my friends who've got children right now. I really do.
Yeah,
because the kids
it's rough.
They're amazing. The kids are brilliant. But what they have to look forward to, I don't know. Nobody knows.
And it's
I think we're starting to lose I think the kids are starting to lose that concept of someday you too can be a millionaire or a billionaire.
Well, yeah, I think that's true too.
Which will help a lot.
They know that that entitlement is no longer presented. It's funny because I remember in 2005, I was going to work. It was 2005. I guess I was like 27, right? I'm going to work and I hear on the radio one of those morning shows, and they're like, "Oh, according to a recent study, now any child born after 2005 will no longer have as good a quality of life as those who were born in the previous, the years previous." And I just thought, what kind of doom-saying cock and bullshit is that? And then I'm like, oh shit, I think that was absolutely correct, because the world has been a steaming pile since around 2001, really. I think 9/11 just sort of plunged us into a very dark place culturally.
It gave them carte blanche to do everything they'd ever wanted to.
Who is they, Jim?
The Tea State.
Who is they?
Well, like Dick Cheney and his cronies had plans written up of what they wanted to do in the Middle East. They already wanted to go into Iraq before we went into Iraq. They had plans written up. It's going to be Iraq, and then I think Iran, and a couple other countries in that area, that we were just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. And when 9/11 came along, they're like, "Ooh, look, we already have these plans drawn up."
The beautiful and scary and awful, beautiful and ugly thing, I like that dichotomy, is that you have the freedom. You have freedom to speak that way. You are allowed. You have the freedom of speech. You're allowed to say that you disagree with what your leader of your people has decided to say. What is going forward? This is what's happening, and you go, "That's fucking bullshit. That's bollocks." But there's people, for example, people in Russia don't have that.
Yeah, that's true. But yet, there's not a whole lot that we can do.
Yeah, say all you like, but yeah,
that's it. That's sort of the illusion of it.
I'm not trying to rise you. I'm just saying.
We understand. No, we do have that freedom, and
we've
comparatively
dismantled the unions, though, so it doesn't really matter what we say.
So do that again with the unions.
We've dismantled the unions in our country, so it doesn't really matter what we say.
Who dismantled the unions?
Over time,
over time, our governments have lessened the power, the effects that unions can have.
So, in your essence, do you believe that the unions could have been the way forward for you to, as a conglomerate of people, been more in charge of?
It would have helped, yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have helped.
Because the reason for, as you know, and this is not me being publicity, this is not me being capitalist. The reason why I call my band Hadrian's Union is the fact that I believe the fact that Hadrian's Wall, etc. There's a history behind what was there beforehand, and what I do and what I try to present within the music of my band is the ideal of a people, of us as the want of a nation, the want. It's not of a nation. It's not specifically just of a nation, but it's a want of the majority. That's better. That's a better term. The want of the majority is to speak through the art of a group of people. And I don't personally think that you, as an American people, black, white, Asian, everything that it encompasses, I don't think that you've been given the voice that you're entitled to. I really don't think that you, as a people, as a conglomerate of everybody that exists within, putting into your system, putting into the taxes that you pay, into you put money in, because of the effort you put in when it comes to your cleaning the streets, your working in offices, and everything else in between. You're putting in the time and you're paying your taxes. You're not getting what you've put into your system. You are not getting what is worth of what you were sold something many years ago before you were born. You were put into a system that said, you put this in and then you get this out. And you've put it in very much, and probably more so, and you've not got out what was promised for you. And I think that probably, and I feel is in the same, I'm an artist and I do what I can within what I've done, within my system, within the UK, that I don't think I'll get the pension that I'm worthy of what I've put into the system, because they don't see what I've done as worthy. And I get up probably before most people, and I go to bed probably later than most people, and I probably get paid less than most people, and I probably put in more than most people. I don't think that you and most of the people of the United States of America don't get out of what they've put into the system. Does that make sense to you?
It does, and I like I said, like in America, the middle class is shrinking. The gap, the income gap is widening, and even though our parents and our grandparents and to us to some extent, of course, like we've been able to eke out comfortable lives, and as you had said,
credit.
Yeah, and as you had said, we fear for our children. Like, can you imagine being a university graduate trying to get a job right now? I mean, unbelievable. These people aren't going to be like. We need large items to move in this capitalist economy to work, like houses and cars. They're not going to be able to buy these things very close in the future. And once the boomers die off, then like who's going to be left with the money? And the answer is it's all just slowly drifting its way towards the top.
And the scary thing is that the boomers have made us, our generation, the X generation, the people between the X gens and what did you call them earlier? The Xennials. We are the target. We are the target, and we will get blamed for what the boomers fucking did. We already are. Of course. We are currently getting blamed for their fucking mistakes. And we were back in the 90s. I mean, and look back at the films like Singles and all that stuff. Going back there and going, it's not our fault. In our media, we were putting out in the media in the 90s going, it's not our fault. We are not doing this to you. It's these people who've had that thing put to them. It's a lie, and we've had all that stuff put upon us.
Yes.
And you're going to blame us for it, and it's not our fault. We know it's not our fault, and we've been saying for 20 years now that it's not our fault.
But here's the thing, Stu, if I can interrupt you with that. Like, sorry, I believe you're absolutely correct in your rant that, and so much of this, we've just sort of drifted into the figurehead of taking the blame. But I also think that in many ways, Gen X in particular has been complicit in what has come before. If you look, we grew up in the 90s. Like, man, we were so fucking rock and roll and ready to go. Nirvana and Rebellion. Yeah. And
remember the All One Tribe shirts? Remember the All One Tribe shirts?
Rage Against the Machine. Right?
The fucking machine.
I mean, that's from our day. And like,
and they're still fucking peddling it.
And we've not delivered what we preached back then. I mean, a few have.
It seemed like we were making progress, and then went sideways.
And the funny thing is, I actually brought this up because I'm on a thread. I'm on a thread with some coworkers. It's just the three of us, and we're all relatively the same age with 5-year span or whatever. And I was like, you guys, we used to be so fucking rock and roll. What happened? And the one guy who is, he sort of drifted into libertarianism, which is Ayn Rand fucking jokeness. He was trying to say that, we got 401ks and houses and mortgages and cars, and we just stopped caring. And I think he was actually being more flip with it than maybe he wasn't, but
what's that asshole saying? It's like, well, of course, when you're young, it's easy to be,
Idealistic.
But as you get older, you become a realist.
Well, according to that, I was also supposed to start liking country music. So fuck them all.
Yeah. So says the man who likes Neil Diamond.
Always. I grew up on Neil Diamond. I will go to the grave with Neil Diamond.
Fair enough. To be fair, this week you have converted me. He is pretty fucking awesome.
Yes. On August nights, baby.
I'm not easily
August
converted.
nights.
I'm not easily converted.
I'm not easily converted, but actually, there's a rawness to Neil Diamond, which is actually there's a truth somewhere.
Yes.
There's a truth in the middle of all of it.
I mean, it was the 70s mostly.
Clothes.
That was a style, Stu. Come on, man.
It was. But we have to go beyond the style to see the truth in what he was saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, Doomsday Clock, guys. We're 100 seconds away from annihilation. We have 100 years. We've already sort of crossed the threshold in terms of climate change, which is the one thing I definitely wanted to mention. Now the studies are saying that we're actually worse off than we thought we were. And there's no amount of doomsaying that can account for how badly we've damaged this.
We're gonna have to science the shit out of this. Unfortunately,
we are.
Anti-intellectualism is on the rise.
And very soon, Stu is going to be drinking Chardonnay with grapes grown in fucking Greenland.
But Chardonnay is fucking gone, mate. I've moved on to the.
I know. I'm just saying that pretty soon. Like the wine country is going to be slowly drifting. UK, you're going to be growing all sorts of wine and country.
Is that one of those new Canadian wines?
I want wine is shit.
But I'm saying with climate change, you're going to be like Italy pretty soon.
Mint.
Right.
The men won't be sexier.
Then only the wealthy will be able to afford it anyway, though. But anyway, all right. One last thing, and it's just a couple memes to kind of close us out.
There is my stuff.
Well, that's part of the segue, Jeffrey.
Okay.
Damn it, Jeff.
God damn it, Jeff.
Just making sure.
let me fucking segue.
Okay. God damn it, Jeff.
Get on that segue. You don't look
down
foolish.
here. Okay.
Yeah, get on that segue. You don't look weird at all.
No. Apparently they stopped making them. Anyway, during the pandemic, we've run out of coinage here in the United States.
I just read that.
I liked it, so I put it up here. And we also, at the beginning of the we had this deep fascination in the early days of lockdown with Tiger King. Stu, did you watch?
I watched episode 1 and 2, but unfortunately my partner has very little tolerance for
bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm with your partner on this, buddy, because I watched the first episode and like, fuck no, I'm not watching it.
I'd have been like, I'm watching this train wreck. Bring the bodies closer so I can see.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And of course, we have a close.
Slow this motherfucker down. I need some close-ups. And I'm like, really? Seriously?
Because I remember hearing about him when he ran for president. I saw his
ad.
I saw his ad for president.
No, did you really?
I saw his ad for like governor.
How about that?
And so I'm like, that guy. I remember that guy.
Right now, I'm thinking, is Tiger King a better choice? That is how bad what's going on.
I know. It's
Tiger King, Donald Trump.
In some ways, he probably would have been better.
I don't know. I'd probably go for Carol Baskin first.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say a CIA
for president.
Who lives relatively close to us, Stu. If you come visit, we will go visit Carol Baskin.
I would CIA love to visit fucking Carol Baskin.
Some CIA operative would have given her a laser show.
Oh, yes. Anyway, probably. Okay, the next little meme here. What absolute dystopian hell are we living in when we have billboards for Pepsi that say the COVID-19 testing site is near such and such a place? Like, I saw that. I'm like, holy fuck, this is dystopia. Oh my God.
Still doesn't taste like Coke.
This is the end. Oh my.
Well, it's like, okay, are we going to go around the corner and see a sign for butt fuckers?
I hope so.
You don't remember that from Idiocracy?
No, but
because of Fuddruckers. I was like, Jeff, where are you going with this? Stu's getting too excited.
Fuddruckers just eventually became
Fuddruckers. Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Idiocracy was absolutely like prophetic. There's no question about that. Mike Judge called that one.
There's like millions of innuendo, which I mean, I love the Americans very much indeed, but there's a whole bunch of. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of innuendo which you put out there yourselves, which you don't fucking get. It's great.
Oh no!
I'm sitting there going, oh my god, they're talking about butt fucking and cocksucking and a whole bunch of stuff, and you don't get it, and you've said it yourself. Yeah. That's so amusing.
Yeah,
no, I'm very filthy.
But
I get it.
As a traditional English, we do look for the innuendo in most things.
Well, I said we should start, remember, James, when I said we should start a company that basically informs politicians and ad campaigns of when they're saying something that is like could be taken the wrong way. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, that's sort of already out there. There are people who do that on YouTube, so we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, they've made money on that already.
Remember I sent you that picture of those mud buddies?
Yes.
And you're like, you're ruining my childhood.
That happened. What were you gonna say, Stu?
I was lost and ruining my childhood.
Yeah,
I was enjoying that.
All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is,
but there's the Lord of my Ring.
What does that say?
Gandalf. It says, "What can you see? There are markings."
Well, what do the markings say?
I refuse to wear a mask, and then it says it's some form of selfish.
Ba-boom.
There you go. I knew you guys would like that one. I saw that today. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's it. That's going in.
Absolutely. Some form of selfish.
So, so Jeff has prepared a few things on this note. Yeah. So, yes, what?
Let's start.
Go, Jeff. Go, Jeff.
Well, I'm not going to stop for a while, so go ahead.
In England, I can't help but feel that the self. We've got a culture globally of selfies, and a culture globally of that the individual is more important than the conglomerate, than everybody together. I can't help but within my culture, within England, that was born within the Tory government, within Margaret Thatcher. And she meant well, but I think with what we've got now is that people themselves, the majority, because of what was instilled within the nation back then, that people see themselves that family as in not in just the individualistic terminology of family, but within the more global version of family, is the way that I see Jeff and the way that I see James and the way I see all my friends across the world as part of my family. I've made a connection with. You are part of my family. James, Jeff, you are part of my family. I love you. You are part of who I am. And that's really important to me. But I think what was put into the majority of people in my country was that you are an individual and that you are the most important thing. I think that is a lie. I don't think that is a truth. I think that what is a real truth is that actually you are me, I am you, and vice versa. And what you experience is what I experience, and what I experience is what you experience. And we communicate that on a conscious level, on a subconscious and a subconscious level. And it's in capitalism does not benefit from that sort of ideology that says that we are one being, because I'm not saying capitalism bad. I'm saying that capitalism gets better and it grows more on fear and the fear keeps the individual within a bubble of you are you, that is them, that makes more money. That has been proven to make more money, and that keeps that system going. But
the idea of unlimited growth has definitely ruined any good that capitalism could have done.
Unbridled capitalism, which is what Adam Smith he's turning over in his grave over what this monstrosity has become.
Who was Adam Smith? Enlighten the people.
The founder of modern economics. His political economic theories are foundational to of course capitalism. Laissez-faire capitalism was just one version of the capitalism he talks about, and what we have inherited is not quite what he would espouse at all.
So basically what I wanted to talk about next is what a lot of people consider the greatest generation and then the golden age of America.
This is Jeff rant time, so prepare yourself.
All right. This is what they had to go through in World War II. They rationed tires, cars, bicycles, gasoline, fuel, oil, and kerosene, solid fuels, stoves, rubber footwear, shoes, sugar, coffee, processed foods, meat, canned fish, cheese, canned milk, fats, typewriters. And if you want to go even a little deeper, everyone had to go in front of the local war price and rationing board, and each person in the household received a ration book, including babies and small children, who were the only ones who qualified for canned milk and stuff like that. To receive a gasoline ration card, a person had to certify a need for gasoline and ownership of no more than 5 tires. All tires in excess of 5 per driver were confiscated by the government if you wanted your gasoline.
Right.
Can you imagine trying to do that to people now? They shoot people.
Right.
And you had A stickers and B stickers and C stickers and T stickers. The only people who were able to get let's put it this way: the A stickers, you got 3 to 4 gallons per week. That's it. The B stickers, you got 8 gallons, and they were like military industrial workers and people like that. The C stickers were granted to like people essential to the war effort, and they, like I said, I lost my train of thought, but they got more. But the only ones that got a lot were the X stickers, and they had unlimited supply, and it's just kind of funny. It's like police, all right, sure, yeah, firemen, okay, civil defense workers, and clergy. They got unlimited gasoline. And there was a scandal that erupted when 200 congressmen received these X stickers. I don't think anyone would bat an eye of that today. It's like, well, yeah, of course. They're our leaders. They get whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Americans drove cars less, carpooled when they did drive, walked and used their bicycles more, and increased the use of public transportation. Things that Americans would probably be completely unwilling to do today.
Yeah, I think that's been demonstrated.
Sugar was actually the first thing to be rationed. Sales ended on the 27th of April, 1942, and resumed on the 5th of May, which, it doesn't seem that long, but imagine that, like a week of nobody in America being able to buy sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. People would lose their shit.
They would.
Let me see. Coffee was rationed, and you could get 1 pound or 0.45 kilograms every 5 weeks. So 1 pound of coffee for 5 weeks.
That's crazy.
And because the U-boats were attacking from shipments from Brazil. Let me see. You couldn't buy a new tube of toothpaste without turning in the old one. Because they were made of metal.
That's right.
By June 1942, companies also stopped manufacturing metal office furniture, radios, television sets, phonographs, refrigerators, vacuum cleaners, washing machines, and sewing machines for civilians. So from 42 to 45, better hope nothing breaks down.
Yeah, that's how it was. And we as a society have devolved into this selfish, some form of selfish, to this selfish monstrosity.
You couldn't even get penicillin.
That's crazy.
There was a triage at each hospital that decided whether you lived or died.
Well, we definitely don't want triages for just penicillin related illnesses now, but Yeah. All right. Are you ready for your video yet?
Can you show? There's a particular person that epitomizes this. Can you show that Charlie Kirk video?
All right, I will. All right, you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Go.
All right, calling out Charlie Kirk, who is some asshat Jeff listens to or heard about
heard about on a different
heard about, and we are going to make fun of him mercilessly because he deserves it.
Like asshat.
Indiana governors have both announced a statewide mask law. Both Republicans. Last time I checked, there were no laws passed.
Pick nose
from governors.
Coke addict.
Connor from Texas. Hi, Connor from Texas. Look, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not a fan of these mask mandates. If you want to wear a mask, that's liberty. That's fine.
Libertarian?
No.
If you want to wear an Abraham Lincoln hat, you can wear that too. You want to wear a New York Yankees hat, that's fine. I mean, if you think it's going to help you. Do not force me to wear a mask. It's that simple. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. The only time I comply is on the airlines because I actually need to fly the airlines to be able to do my job and travel the country.
The only time he can... Go ahead, Sue.
I won't spunk on your face. It's absolutely fine. As long as you don't mind. I won't. I honestly, I won't come up to you and ejaculate all over your face. It's my majority.
I appreciate that.
It's exactly the same fucking with what we're going on with right now. That's the world we're fucking living in.
It is. Okay, keep going.
It is. I'm sorry.
Pick nose again.
Make an income and grow Turning Point USA. So that's the fight I do not fight. But every single time I go into one of these grocery stores, where's your mask? I say, well, first of all, the signs around masks.
Wait, did he just cite Turning Point USA?
Yes, he did.
Which we should point out that the founder of Turning Point USA just died of COVID.
From not wearing a mask.
In fact, some doctors think that masks actually make you sicker.
They don't?
And also, this is very bad English.
More likely to infect you, and less likely to be able to fight the virus, and actually more likely to be able to die sooner. A lot of people believe.
What? Is he just pulling this out of his ass, Jeff? What is his background? Where is he getting his information other than like Fox News?
He's a clean-cut 26-year-old that they like. We need to get people. We need to like get the young people. So
like Tommy Lahren.
but to give him his dues, he's got a very good nose. I'll give him that. He's got a really good nose.
Okay.
Many doctors that hold that view. Secondly, we have a huge civil liberty issue here. Why do you have the authority to tell me what I can and cannot do with my body? I thought it was my body, my choice. I thought that was the entire thought process as to why we are wrongly able
Stop. My body, my choice. I really would like to feel. I would really like to hear how he feels about abortion.
He would be probably against it, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah.
I would,
even though he's
my body, my choice. I'd really like to know his opinion. I'd really like to know. You can continue from there.
And so I just don't like being told what to do generally by the federal government. I'm not a type of person who plays well when the government comes in and starts to...
I bet he plays well with himself.
Remember that statement. It's important for the next video.
Okay.
Restrictions that I support. I'm actually in the minority. I support seatbelt laws because I think seatbelts actually save lives. And I actually think it's not that big of an infringement on your liberty. I kind of disagree with a lot of people.
So he says it's cool to wear a seatbelt because it saves lives. But masks are not good because
actually, he's not that concerned about saving lives. You'll see.
I'm sorry, is seatbelt still a fucking conversation?
No, it's not. It's not. It really isn't.
I often watch movies on Netflix and I'm watching and I'm going, he's not wearing a fucking seatbelt.
There's no headrest. This
is literally a disaster movie, and he's still not wearing a fucking seatbelt.
Nope.
Skip back to the 10.
Carry on.
All right.
Go.
And I actually think it's not that big of an infringement on your liberty. I kind of disagree with a lot of people on this. I mean, some super strict libertarians say, oh, no, seatbelts ever. Okay. If you fly through the window of the car because you didn't want to wear a seatbelt, and all of a sudden I have to pay for your health care, that's ridiculous. A mask might not even work. A mask is questionable at best. So the science...
How old is this?
Couple of days.
He has not seen any of the science that proves that masks work.
I looked like the day or two after this, like just yesterday, he had on a panel of doctors that all agree that the masks are bad.
Are they like doctors of philosophy?
I do believe.
Of...
I think one of them was Dr. Demon Seaman, actually.
Oh, jeez. Seriously?
We can also tell by the evidence presented towards us right now is that he's not been brave enough to venture the barber.
Well,
another group. The people I originally watched this mentioned that. The people I watched this on the Majority Report originally, and they mentioned that he hasn't been to the barber. He's full of shit.
That's the style, man.
He's saying one thing, but he means another.
He's debated more, and the fact that these Republican governors are saying, "Oh, you must wear a mask. You must wear a mask," I think it's nonsense. I don't think it's popular. I have never met anyone that says, "I just love wearing my mask. I love it."
Why did he do the Trump intonation right there?
I don't know.
Like that's a Trump impersonation that he just did.
I love wearing my mask. I love it.
I am not a fan. I think it's dehumanizing when I see a 4-year-old wearing a mask.
I'm no longer human because I wear a mask. Really?
It's dehumanizing. Really?
Let them down. When we have robbed them.
I can't even.
I think there's something.
Jeff, he's making me run out of my evens. Like, I'm all out of evens.
There's only a few seconds left.
Who is he?
Some douche nozzle.
We have robbed them from it. I encourage you to go back and listen.
He said, "Oh, that you can't see the facial expressions of the children. We've robbed them of their childhood."
I'm sorry. I was brought up in the 80s. We had Michael Jackson. End of. I mean, we've got some good music, but where's my childhood? Where's my childhood?
Now this is my response to him.
Wait, okay. Where'd you go?
Other people asking you to do reasonable things. A journey through the depths of tyranny.
All right, it's playing.
Ooh. I need more booze.
I think we're almost done.
I know, but this has been really good fun.
It has. My buzz has worn off though, sadly.
Exactly. So I'm just wondering, should we refill and keep going?
Oh, look at the tyranny! Stop. What if he doesn't want to stop?
Take my
what
rights.
If he just wants to keep on going?
I want to piss on the floor.
Do not feed hallucinogens. No, go back. I want to feed the hallucinogens.
Wait, what?
You must be this taught about. Wait, what? Do not touch when in use.
Where's it at? There it is.
Do not feed hallucinogens to the alligator. That is
we have a real problem with that in Florida.
Look, he's got absolute. He's mushies to
he's
the
got
crocs.
The shrooms.
The shrooms to the crocs. That's amazing.
Yep.
What a lucky croc.
That's why Florida man's a celebrity.
Oh, I need to so visit you guys.
Look at all this tyranny.
I know, it's terrible, right?
Children.
Asking you to do reasonable things.
No shoes, no service.
I want to blast my nips.
Yeah, baby.
I'm talking about.
Don't get me.
There's another one. Oh. Do not give the bison psychoactive substances.
Do not give the bison. Nice. That's a story that's waiting to happen. Do not end up.
Just the horror.
Nice. The good.
Do you remember that one? You were on the way back from Detroit.
Yes. Is she actively trying to feed her child to the crocodile?
I think so.
A crocodile.
Hopefully not. But I want to go swimming. Take a number.
Take a number. Slow speed bump.
No U-turns. Now they agree with that one most of the time. Yeah. Don't walk. Generally, I don't like the government telling me what to do.
I do what I want.
Why do you have to choose?
Well, in this day and age, actually, so you really shouldn't.
Awesome.
Public pooping. That's my favorite. That was my favorite.
That was my favorite.
I know that's an issue in Amsterdam.
That was my second favorite, actually. My favorite one starts again.
That's again.
Wait! I took a pic. Wait, where'd you find that one?
That's Asianist. That's Asianist.
yeah, no, I know.
I've seen this sign before. I have this in like my photo albums.
It's like how to use an American toilet.
No, but Asians the Asians poop like this because it's better for you.
It's better for you, yeah.
Squatty potty.
Yes,
it's the way your body works.
With the unicorn pooping ice cream.
Yeah, I probably would have tried to eat that as a kid. Come on now. Oh, I shouldn't eat it. Good call.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh, you did not.
Tyranny.
I think I did about 1 second and went, no, I can't go there.
You already went there.
It's on my IP address already. Do not stop on tracks.
This one's great. Oh shit! Go back. It froze up for a second, then cleared through that one way too quick. You'll like that one.
Do your partners get this sort of this humor?
Mine does. Mine does.
Yes.
Yeah, his does sound.
Yeah, Richard's just he's just like kind of, I don't understand what you're fucking going on.
Stu, go ahead. Read this out loud.
Warning: any persons except players collecting golf balls on this course will be prosecuted and have their balls removed.
That's my favorite.
I'm out. I will not be going there.
All right, it's almost over.
Attention, all customers must wear a face covering to enter.
Tyranny. Every day, wearing masks probably kills millions of Americans. That's right. Millions. Millions if it's like Halloween or like really cold, but people choose to go skiing or snowmobiling and stuff. So they wear one of those ski masks. And even though wearing a mask is like so easy, and it's probably the very least we could do, and it's still like totes effective and stuff, be that as in may, a bunch of cuck libtards said it was a good idea. And if we acquiesce to their demands, it will make God sad because the commies hate babies or something. And then they're thinking about Black people getting some rights, and then my life will mean less when I go before the communist, socialist, anarchist, Medicare death panels. So basically, don't be a pussy, and don't tread on me, and because you just got to be a tyrant sometimes, and pee on the tree of liberty because America, and because freedom
and stuff.
Yeah, there you go, Jeffrey. There you go.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Or I'm sorry. Depending.
Thank you for helping me.
It's been a long ride, guys. Oh my! We've been recording now for 3.5 hours.
We haven't fucking not.
Probably 30 minutes of that was pissing me.
Shit, Jeff, you got some fucking editing to do, man.
Right on. Anyway, guys, I believe that's going to wrap up our great pause conversation. Is there anything else you want?
I feel really bad for Jeff.
Well, we actually have a new helper producer guy who's doing some stuff with us too.
Is this the New York dude?
Yes. Although I think he lives in New Jersey because they're by each other. But anyway, yeah. So any parting words?
New Jersey. Oh my God. He lives in New Jersey.
Don't do it. He might. He's going to stop working with us if you do that. So anyway, thank you.
I'm not playing him like he's a motherfucker. I don't know where he's.
Are you going Goodfellas?
Does he know my mother? I don't know where he's fucking coming from.
I'm having a hard time not doing the George Carlin joke. I'm having a really time.
You usually mention George Carlin at least once per show.
Kiss her where it smells. Kiss her where it smells. Take her to New Jersey. Except in Michigan, it would be Ohio.
Hey! Yeah, I like that better.
Take her where it smells. Kiss her where it smells. Take her to Ohio.
Right on. Anyway, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think it goes without saying that when it comes voting time in a short while, less than 100 days, November, I believe the 2nd or 3rd, make a wise, informed choice. I would advise against voting third party as that essentially negates your vote. So please vote for the individual who is less likely to become a tyrannical dictator. Also, wear a goddamn motherfucking mask.
It is literally the most effective and least you can do.
Yes. All right. Anything else?
Love each other, care for, namaste, peace and love, prosperity, etc.
For such a horrible topic,
Aloha.
I had fun.
I know what. We got it going, man. We got it going.
Gallows humor.
That's it.
Bye, guys.
Guys. Take
care.
Guys.
It's time to eat. Bye.
Bye. Good night. Or good evening.
Peace out.